If you've ever wanted to be featured as a keynote speaker, you don't know how to prep for those events, or you're just looking to make the most of it, in this video, I'm going to break down how I got the speaking engagement that I'm literally driving to right now, what I did to prep for it, and how I'm going to make the most out of it. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Konikow. I happen to own a company called Prime Real Estate, which is the reason I got the invite. This is an investor meetup being hosted by some amazing people in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And the real estate market is volatile, and smart and savvy investors like to get in rooms with other investors to talk about how they're finding deals, how they're getting creative, how do you even invest in a high interest rate environment. One of the roles that I'm going to play going there is I'm going to share some boots on the ground insights as to what we're actually seeing in the real estate space. I'm actually going to pull up a whole bunch of data and walk through it live with those people. So I'll be sharing some of those clips in this video. So if you're interested in the real estate market, then you'll get that as well. But I want you to think of it from the perspective of a creator. The second reason they actually asked me to come to the meetup tonight was to talk about social media. We have built our businesses on the backbone of creating content. It has attracted the best clients on the planet. So I'm also going to break down some of the strategies and how I'm thinking about social media in 2024. I'm going to share things in this video and at the event tonight that I have not shared anywhere else. So I'm pretty pumped about it. I want to do a little bit more vlogging and share behind the scenes. So currently I am driving. It's about an hour and a half from where I live to the event. Now I'm early because I'm going to make a stop along the way. I'm going to share with you one of the ways that I make the most of these trips and how I prep when I'm there. I'm going to share some BTS and behind the scenes footage. There is some beautiful countryside I am driving through right now, some beautiful rivers that I fish up along that Lake Huron area. So just enjoy the view, and I'll meet you at the next stop. I got the speaking engagement because of a relationship. I have spent hundreds of hours investing in this relationship. Whenever they ask me for something, I try to be ultra responsive. I also try and study my craft. So whatever you're into, if you're watching this channel and you're somebody that loves custom sneakers, you own a fitness studio, whatever your craft is, be an expert at your craft and tell the world about it. Think of what I'm doing right now by putting this out. You all know that if you need an agent anywhere in North America, you can send me a DM on Instagram and I'll hook you up with my network. I'm an expert in real estate. I know experts everywhere. Ryan Serhant's my mentor. If you're in New York and you want to work with Ryan, let me know. I have his personal cell phone number and I'll make a direct connection for you. So the reason I'm telling you this isn't because I'm special. It's because you can do the exact same thing. And if you're not there yet, just start doing the thing that you want to be an expert at and become a craftsman or a craftswoman at that thing, and you will get speaking engagement. The second piece of advice I want to give you is when things are not perfect. A lot of times when people are hosting events, they're busy, they have a lot of businesses on the go. You need to work around their schedule. So when they ask you to be somewhere, I typically obviously clear it with my wife and partner first. So the second thing I do is I make sure it's in my calendar. I'll send them a calendar invite, or I'll coordinate with their lead manager to make it easy for them. I don't actually ask the person that asked me to go to the event for all the details for the event if I know they have an assistant, because I know he's not going to send it to me. So I try and save them time by making the connection with their team immediately, trying to get the itinerary and just figure stuff out for the event, and then have my assistant does it for me. But back in the day, I would write it all down myself. Where do I have to be? What do I need to bring? How do I need to prep? And then actually plan my itinerary to be there early. So one super hack that I'm going to show you when I make a stop here in about 40 minutes is because I'm going to be half an hour early. That is thoughtfully planned, and I'll show you why in a couple minutes. But like I said, early is on time is late is unacceptable for events like this. Now I have another speaking engagement in 2 weeks. It is the largest real estate conference in Canada. I was a panel guest speaking about exactly what I just said. There's another way to actually get a speaking engagement. I wrote an article that I'll reference in the comments below or in the notes. You can go click on it and see it on my LinkedIn. And the article was called "Kill the Celebrity Real Estate Agent." I talked about how the celebritization of real estate industries in our industry needs to change, and that you should actually be chasing being an expert at real estate more than being an influencer when you first get into the business. I think a lot of people think, I got to do Instagram, I got to do TikTok, and like, I'm part of the problem. People look at me and they think celebrity real estate agent because of the profile that I have online. And I actually wrote the article talking to myself so I don't get caught up in my own hype at all, because I always want to be known as a craftsman, somebody that's an expert at real estate and media, but it was also for my industry as a whole. Article got picked up, got a little bit viral. It got picked up by a national real estate magazine that I'm pretty excited I get to write another op-ed piece for around the same topic, and some more guest contributions coming from there. But the lady that runs the Buzz conference had reached out to me saying, hey, I think this is a great topic for us to discuss amongst a panel of other top producers of like, what does it actually mean to be a craftsman in an influencer age? Now, the reason I'm sharing this is I also said you got to be able to pivot. So I got an email from the event coordinator and she said, hey, so-and-so can't moderate the panel anymore, can you do it? Because he had a death in his organization. And I said immediately, without even thinking, am I able to moderate a panel like that? Yes, of course, I'd be happy to do it. Because ultimately, that's where the opportunities for speaking engagements come. I've never moderated a panel like that, but I host the Prime People podcast. I do a lot of things where I like asking people questions, and it's a topic I'm very comfortable with. So I think many of the speakers, I know Phil Jones and a few other large speakers have been in situations where, you know, their hour-long or hour and a half long presentations got cut down to 40 minutes and they figured it out, got down to 20 minutes and they figured it out. They got asked to change their time slot, change their topic. You may be presenting on a topic and the speaker before you goes up and says the exact same thing that you were going to say. So I'd say be adaptable. That is also my second biggest tip. Obviously get the speaking engagement through the relationships like I talked about, but don't be too precious about becoming a superstar and start being adaptable, because you'll get more opportunities once people know that you're easy to work with. So enjoy the sunset. We're going to make a stop here in about 40 minutes, so we'll cut to that, and I'm going to share that 30-minute hack on now getting prepared for the event. Actually, I'm going to show you a little bit of behind the scenes of one thing that I will do to prepare for the event while you enjoy the drive. So I should actually tell you what you're listening to before I just start pressing play. So I've got one of my favorite Canadian real estate podcasts on. Steve Sereski is a friend through the online mediums, and they're going to be discussing the increase in the inflation rate. Why am I listening to this podcast and sharing it with you when you're learning about speaking engagements? I'm going to share a couple of short clips from this episode, because one of the topics I'm going to be discussing tonight is the fact that CPI went up yesterday. So the Consumer Price Index came in at 3.4, which was an increase from 3.1. The important thing to note there is, while the Bank of Canada has talked about lowering rates, everybody's freaking out saying, well, the Bank of Canada is not going to lower rates now because inflation is going up. When you actually dig into inflation, if you look at where gas prices were at last year to this year, there was actually a big difference, and that's one of the reasons why the numbers came in higher. Also, I think it was 29.7% of the inflation increase was actually due to higher interest rates, and then I believe another 7% was attributed to rental increases. So they are, what's your monthly rent? So 36.7% directly attributed to housing, plus the gas factor. If you took those out, all of a sudden CPI went down from last year. Like, things are better this year than they were last year, although it doesn't actually feel like it. You know, I'm going to be talking about how Korea put out the stat that there have actually been an increase in home sales, which it doesn't feel that way. Now, why am I sharing this information with you while you're watching this podcast? Is I educate myself. So the third tip I'm going to give you is prepare yourself for the speaking engagement. Don't think that you know everything. Consume content and dive into the topics that you're actually going to be speaking about. One way you can do that is actually literally on your way to the event. If I was training for a fight, I would be working with other fighters. I'd be boxing, I'd be doing jiu-jitsu and everything else. I think of what I'm doing the exact same way. So make sure you are training and educating yourself on the topic you were speaking about, or you are going to get found out and not get asked to speak again. Okay, so I told you we plan to be half an hour early for two reasons. One, when you're going to a speaking engagement, you want to make sure that you're actually there on time, and if there's traffic, bad weather, all that stuff, that factors in. The second reason is I now have the ability to actually prep myself one more time before the actual talk, and then if that's all taken care of, I can actually take care of some client business. So one thing I do on a daily basis, update my sellers as to what's going on. I'm going to stack that with the fact that I'm going to a conference speaking about real estate investing. So I'm going to hone in on the stats, average price, average days on market, and some data that I can actually give these people live when I'm there. So what you want to do is try and stack your habits when you're doing speaking engagements, so you're accomplishing work at the same time as you're doing the speaking engagement, getting better at your craft. And I honestly think it puts you in the right headspace to speak on the topic that they are bringing you there to speak about in the first place. Done in Starbucks. I actually cleared out my emails, pulled up some interesting stats, found a resource called Trueflation showcasing how the US inflation rate looks like it's gone up, but Trueflation actually showcases that it's going down. So just trying to sharpen my sword, provide as much value as possible. And I figured out the Trueflation site from the podcast that I listened to. So imagine that. If you put in the work, it pays dividends. And if you're early, you don't feel like you're falling forward, and your presentation will actually be a lot better. So let's head to the event center. They don't even know I'm shooting this vlog, so we'll have some fun. You'll meet some very interesting people and hopefully make some connections that could help you in the world of real estate if you're looking for an agent.
I'm going to introduce our main event tonight, Mr. Justin Konikow. Justin is a personal friend, somebody we've worked together for a lot of years. And has anyone worked with Justin personally? I know there's probably quite a few hands that go up here. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Justin Konikow. Justin's going to get started with some data and some information, and then we're going to kind of break into a fireside chat. So,
awesome. Thank you, Mr. Kyle. Consumers, investors, residential home purchasers, commercial people that are deploying large amounts of capital act quite often based more on forecasting what's coming, looking at historical data than they are day to day. Day traders operate on day to day. People that are day trading real estate, which was a thing in 2017 to 2022, were operating on day to day. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what is the next 12, 18, 5, 10 years look like, right? So 12, 18 months to 5 to 10 years, which is the space I play in. Because if you all-time price points, there's your blip in February 2022, which is very important. The average price point across pretty much all the residential asset classes, it's about 875. I'll show you some multifamily data as well too, because it is important, but residential housing sets the bar for what's happening with residential multifamily, and then it comes down the pipeline for commercial as well, because people have jobs.
Because I've noticed a big uptick in the last 2 weeks. Significant uptake in mortgage applications, refis, sales coming in. So Justin, it's something that you and I have talked about. So if you want to give some comment on that, then maybe I'll get some of the mortgage agents and realtors in the room to chime in as well. So
yeah, 100%. So I didn't really stop marketing properties till like 15 to the 20. It was actually surprisingly busy in terms of people calling, but not converting to showings. Everybody that I was talking to was like, I'm gonna wait till the new year. I'm like, go for it, whatever, right? We just put them in the follow-up plan.
Well, thank you very much, Justin. Your wealth of knowledge, really appreciate it. We're gonna break for.
So there you have it. I am all done with the speaking engagement. I'm walking back out to my vehicle right now. I filmed the bulk of my session, so I put in some clips for you guys. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, but the people that I was talking to made some amazing connections after. Didn't film it, but I sat down and connected cell phone to cell phone and through Instagram with a bunch of people doing really cool things in my marketplace. One guy that is in the STR space that actually is selling a product that I think would be amazing for one of my recreational markets and was worth every second of coming down. Saw a whole bunch of my past clients here too, and yeah, I feel inspired. You get around other people that are doing cool things, you are the average of the people that you hang around. So that is it for now. Gonna head back to our territory. It's gonna be a bit of a drive. If you want to see more content like that, let me know in the comments. Hit notification and subscribe so you don't miss any future content. It was a lot of fun. I will definitely be doing more of this.